Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone.
Chased down by Beal in the corner for three, gets fouled and hits.
Welcome to DC.
Crawford tied him out.
You know where you're at the USA camp. You're taking it slightly. I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Abdullah coming at you with another video for the channel. Welcome back to the DMV Sports Zone. And in today, guys, I have a special guest, Super Bowl championship quarterback, Brad Johnson. Brad, how you feeling today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you reaching out. Look forward to telling some stories and having a little fun here.
Yeah, of course. First question I just want to talk about, your path to the NFL. Can you please describe that whole process?
I could start in high school of, whether choosing what sport I really wanted to play. I was really a basketball player. Growing up as a kid, that was my dream, to be like Larry Bird or Chris Mullin. And really, I was a better basketball player in high school. I was an All-American in football, but I'd spent all my time working at basketball. And so as a 6'5" guy playing basketball, the odds were a little bit better at 6'5" quarterback. At that time, there was a little bit of a comparison to Benny Testaverde, who's at the University of Miami, who had won a Heisman. So I chose the path of eventually playing football. I went to Florida State on a football scholarship and actually played 2 years of basketball. And then just through the process of college and then going through the combine and then eventually getting drafted. I got drafted 9th round, 227th pick at the NFL draft. There was 12 rounds back then, and now I think there's only 7.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So once you were drafted, how hard was it adjusting to the pros during the beginning of your career in Minnesota?
It's a lot. I didn't play very much in college. And so really, when I got drafted to Minnesota, I went there as the third-string quarterback and really didn't get a lot of reps in practice. The first-team reps go to the starter. At that time was Rich Gannon, and then the backup, Sean Salisbury. He got all the scout team reps. And then so really I was just kind of standing around. A lot of my reps kind of came on my days off or after practice throwing to receivers. But the game of NFL, it's just a lot. There's a lot of verbiage, a lot of plays. Just the understanding of the game. You may have like one way to run a curl route in college, but in the pros you may have 10 different ways to do it, by personnel groupings, by shifts, by motions, by the way to do it from different splits, and just the ability to be able to learn all that. It's just more, and it's more. And then the next week after you play a game, they add more. So you're continually learning, you're continually challenging yourself. And so my first couple of years, it was tough because I didn't get a lot of those reps, and most of my time was just spent studying the playbook and watching film.
Mm-hmm. So in your career, who are your favorite targets to throw to?
My favorite receiver is the guy that's open. So that's the luxury of, but I had some unique stats. I played with, I'll rattle off some guys. I threw Chris Carter and Tim Brown, both Hall of Famers, their 100th touchdown pass. Threw Randy Moss, his first touchdown pass, Hall of Famer. Got to play with Keenan McCardell, over 900 catches. Keyshawn Johnson, 900 catches. Jason Witten, over 1,000 catches. Terrell Owens, through Andre Reed, Hall of Fame, played for Buffalo Bills. Washington. So, Irvin Fryer. I play with so many great receivers, so many great players, and some of them were at different times of their Joe Jaravicious. He went to 3 Super Bowls. So I can't tell you all the guys I play with, but just a numerous amount of players and greatness. And the difference we see with those guys, they were consistent over a period of time, not just a couple games here and there, not just one season, but, we're talking 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seasons in a row of consistency. And that you saw the work ethic they had, but all of them had all of them can catch the ball. All of them can run fast. But the difference with those guys is really the understanding of the game, how to run routes versus different leverages, and understanding coverages, and just being an all-around player.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that we all want to talk about is that, I mean, people don't give you recognition for this, but you were the founding father of throwing a touchdown to yourself. So could you please describe that play against the Panthers and what was going on through your head? And you look like you were Michael Vick out there juking out those defenders.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the first one to ever throw a touchdown pass to myself. And so basically the rule is you have to throw a forward pass and then the ball gets batted. It got batted back to me. So you cannot make two forward passes. So a lot of times as a quarterback, if it gets batted, a lot of times you'll knock the ball down. It can be intercepted by a lineman, or sometimes you're behind line of scrimmage, so you'll lose yards. So, but this play, it was 3rd and 3. We were playing the Carolina Panthers when I was in Minnesota. The play was called far left slot spear, rip Dallas. And basically, it was a stick flat by the tight end and the fullback in the flat. And I dropped back. I threw it to my left. The ball got batted up. It came back to me. I knew you couldn't throw the ball twice, and so I scrambled around to my right, dove into the end zone, and then when it happened, we were just happy we scored a touchdown. And then that night, I got a phone call saying, "Hey, Brad, it's the first time in NFL history it's taken place. It counted as a touchdown pass and a touchdown catch to yourself. It was 12 points in fantasy football. Won an ESPY award for Play of the Year in the NFL. So it was just a cool play to say I was a part of and did. And then a few years later, Marcus Mariota, he did something similar with the Tennessee Titans when they played Kansas City in the playoffs. So it's pretty cool play.
But you were the one that started it, not Marcus.
That's right. No doubt.
The audience knows that.
There's only one founding father there.
No, I agree. So moving on to the end, like the middle of your career, when you say you got traded to Washington, what were your thoughts and how would you describe your time there and that process of getting on the team?
I was very fortunate being in Minnesota. I was there for 7 years, playing under one system. Very rarely do coaches come and go. They get fired or bringing in new coordinators. You always have to learn new terminology. So in Minnesota, under one system for 7 years, I really had a great understanding of it. And but after that, I got traded to Washington, so it was all a new beginning. I mean, in one place you call play trip strike fire 2 why Hank why go, and then another place you might call it trip strike scat right 696 F flat. Like they mean the same play, but you call them a different way, and then you may do a protection a different way. So you're having to learn terminology, which was tough. And then the other thing is, in Minnesota, I was actually selling my house in Minnesota. I was building a house in Tallahassee where we lived. I was buying a new home in Washington. I was learning a new system, and I was coming off of a knee surgery. I mean, and then learning how to get to the facility, the names of the players, the names of the coaches, and all this kind of thing. So it's a lot harder than you think going from one system, one place to another, especially when you're grounded like that. So, but I was thankful for that opportunity. Played 2 years in Washington. We won the NFC East and threw over 4,000 yards my first year there. So I love playing. I know they're the Commanders now, but for me, I was a Redskin. Of course. And there was a childhood dream for me growing up in North Carolina to play for the Redskins at that time. And because that was my team. That was the team I grew up watching. So thankful for that time.
No, for sure. I agree. I mean, we really appreciate it because we really haven't had so much success since you haven't been on the Redskins or now the Commanders. So, yeah. Now, moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You were the first quarterback that won in the Super Bowl in their franchise history. Why Tampa Bay during free agency?
Yeah, there were a couple of teams in free agency that I thought about going to. And basically, at the end of the day, not going to all those teams kind of things, but basically it was Tampa. 2 reasons why I went to Tampa. There was a better contract, more security in the contract. And so that was important to me. And the other one, to be honest with you, Tampa Bay had never won a Super Bowl. The last time a Super Bowl had been won in the state of Florida was 1972 and 73 with Bob Greasy down in Miami playing with the Dolphins. So I'd played against Tampa a bunch when I was in Minnesota and Washington. Just had great respect for all the players with John Lynch and Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and Warwick Dunn, all those guys. And went to college with some of those guys. And then the other thing was Tony Dungy. We'd been together for 3 years in Minnesota. So there was a comfort level for both of us. And so I just feel like this is the right fit and the right opportunity to go there.
Mm-hmm. So how did it feel finally winning that Super Bowl, and from a perspective of a player and just a human?
Yeah, it's you grow up as a kid, you you watch that game and you're sitting at some party eating chips and dip, and and you see the game, and like it's bigger than life. And I remember one of my heroes, Phil Simms, playing for the New York Giants. He'd beat the great John Elway in the Super Bowl and went 22 for 25 and threw 3 touchdowns. And at the end of the game, he was the MVP. And he did that first commercial. Said, "I'm going to Disney World." Confetti falling on his face, And so for me, I never won the last game of my life. Never won a state championship. Never won a national championship. And 16 years later, in 2003, having that opportunity to play in that game. I remember Celine Dion singing "God Bless America" and the Dixie Chicks singing the national anthem, and Larry Zonka and Bob Greasy and Don Shula doing the coin flip. And, next thing I know, I'm out there on the field, with millions watching that game, and think about so many kids that, wanted that dream too. So, and at the end of the game, confetti was falling on my face. And I was holding my son, Max, who was 2 years old, with my wife, Nikki, who was 7.5 months pregnant, with our other son, Jake, saying, "We're going to Disney World," So it was awesome. There's only 35 quarterbacks that ever won the Super Bowl. 3 of those have passed away, with Bart Starr and Johnny Unitas and Kenny Stabler. So to say I'm one of 32 quarterbacks living is pretty awesome when you think of, I think there's 46 presidents. There's 67 guys that have won the Masters. 360 some guys have been in NFL Hall of Fame. So it might be one of the most exclusive clubs in the world. So thankful for that opportunity.
No, I agree. It's a crazy achievement. Moving on to and transitioning to more personal questions. Did you ever have a welcome to the NFL moment? And if so, what was it?
I remember as a going back to my first year playing with Minnesota, I was a third string quarterback, and so you think, are you ready to play? Are you ready to play? And I didn't give any snaps like I talked about earlier, but there was a particular game, the starter, Rich Gannon, he got hurt. Sean Salisbury, the backup, he was in the game that he messed up his hand, and all of a sudden my heartbeat was pumping. So I went from a guy on the sidelines with my hat, like just chilling, just, the game will be over and deal with the next day, to like, I may be going in. And I didn't get in that game. And I remember the coordinator the next day, Jack Burns, he was kind of laughing in his meetings. He says, "I got one quarterback, Rich Gannon, who's hurt and can't play. I got another one that's dinged up and doesn't know where he's at, Sean Salisbury. And I got another one talking about me that's hyperventilating on the sideline." So I said, at that point, I was like, you know what? I better grow up. I better wake up. I better know that playbook inside out and be ready for my opportunity. So that was kind of a wake up moment for me.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So you talked about it, being nervous and all. How important is it to have confidence when it comes to playing at the pros?
You're going to have all the above. Tom Brady right now, I think he's played 21 years. At some point, you're a little bit nervous for every game. You're excited, but you got nerves. Some people can handle them better than others. I think the longer you play, kind of know what to expect, the ups and downs of it kind of helps. But I think always embrace the moments of whether you're nervous, whether you're excited, whether you're whatever feelings you have, just kind of embrace them. But know that at the end of the day, know that you've done the work, that you're prepared, that you're confident in your abilities, you're confident in others around you. But as a quarterback, honestly, you're the victim of your team and your play caller at the same time too. So, and when I say that, they might get the ball and run the open kickoff back. You're down 7-0. You may hand the ball off the first play and it fumbles. You're down 10-0. Like, and then again, you may hand off you may throw a screen pass and it goes for 80 yards. So there's circumstances around you. But you learn the one thing you control. One thing that you got to be able to learn is how to control just my game. Just make the read, make the throw, make the play, and be consistent over time. That's the key, I think, for me and for most quarterbacks.
Interesting. Well, you talked about an NFL playbook. A lot of people don't realize, but just how difficult is it to memorize a playbook in the NFL?
It's a lot. It's a lot. U shift, green, left, west, F short, spire 2, Y banana, Z overheads up for 359 smoke. Axe, double right spirit, Larry 735H, pump, double cadence on 2. Green right slot, 97. Wanda heads up for a buster call. Kill, 96 Seattle heads up for H2 Miami or 58 Dolphin. The list goes on. And you'll go into a playbook with, up to 30 runs, depending on, situations, goal line, third downs, first down runs, protections. You'll usually have about 8 to 10 different kinds of protections. And by that, I mean, is it a 5-man protection, a 6-man protection, a 7-man protection? Is it a slide protection? Is it is it audibles? Those kind of things. So and that's what's tough, I think, for a lot of guys when you have to learn a system from one system to the next system. So, hopefully you can be ingrained with one coach and one system over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. So talking about, you playing and officiating over the years, what is your thoughts on officiating and how it has evolved?
Man, it's tough. If you call just a little youth football leagues or youth basketball leagues, like baseball leagues, it's tough. You got to make calls. You got to make hard calls, And in football, I think you have 7 referees out there, and they're all responsible for different areas of the field and those kind of things. But at the NFL level, guys are big, guys are fast. Every play counts, and every time they throw a yellow flag, it matters. One way or the other. But replays come into a big play here, and they're trying to figure out how to really use it. And then you have instant replays with, do you throw the red flag on the sidelines? So just so much that goes into it. But as a player, you got to control what you can control, and then just hopefully, the referees just make the best calls, and hopefully they're in your favor. But it's you got to respect those guys that go through that, and they do. They go through a lot of training in the off seasons. They go to different mini camps. They go to training camps, and they watch a lot of film. But it's a fast game, so you got to respect those referees, how they call the game, and the pressure that they're under also too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Now, I want your thoughts on the current NFL overtime rules. What do you think? Should it be changed or should it stay the same? I
don't know the rules. I haven't kept up with this year's rules. What happened? I'm sorry.
So, essentially, it's still the same where if the first team gets it, if they score a touchdown, they win the game. But a lot of people are saying that that's unfair because, the whole AFC Championship game, Josh Allen never got a chance. So there were fans out there that were speculating that whether both teams should be allowed to have the ball, whether one team scores first.
Yeah, I think, and since you're saying that, I think the rules, that's the rules during the regular season. And I think the rules change a little bit in the playoffs where I think if one team scores, then the other team may have a chance to get the ball also. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's happened. So during the regular season, I'll be honest with you. In college, they have 85 players. So they can play. You have more players to play, and they can recover faster. With pro games, you only have so many players on the roster. I don't think you want to play the extra plays, the extra I don't think you want it to go into a quarter, 2 quarters more. It's a 17-game season. You get guys hurt over a period of time. So I like the rules for the regular season. Playoffs, I do like the ability that both teams get the ball if the first team scores, and then play it out. First one that scores after that wins. So I do like the rules, how they changed.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So talking about, the NFL right now, which QB currently do you think is similar to you when you played back then?
Oh gosh, game's kind of changed a little bit now. The guy that I like a lot, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. He's had twice the career that I had, but I actually like Matt Ryan. I think our teams will be very similar as far as leadership goes. He's been an MVP, took his team to a Super Bowl. I think he's just consistent over time. He's thrown for the most yards over the first 10 years of anyone's career in the NFL. I think the way he does, the way he leads his team, the way he runs play action game, I think the ability to throw from the pocket, I think that's his greatness. To see him, he's been healthy all these years. So I would say him probably, but he's had twice the career I've had. And so I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
No, I think that's a good one. So your biggest takeaway from playing at the highest level of something, what would you say to those people out there?
Say it again. I missed you.
Yeah, your biggest takeaway that you got from playing at the highest level.
Yeah, be great at your craft. better have a passion for it, be able to deal with embrace adversity, the ups and downs. They're real. Be consistent over time. To reach that level, it's a select few. You got to love the game and deal with everything that comes with it. And so be grateful for that opportunity to play in the NFL. It's not granted to anyone. You got to earn it every year. There's such thing called transaction. And they're always looking to upgrade and improve. So you got to prove your worth year in and year out. And but it's awesome. I think football is the ultimate team game with so many players and so many coaches involved. What it takes to get ready for a week. Each week's game is unbelievable. All the work that goes into it, and but to reach that level of playing in the NFL is elite, and then actually to win a Super Bowl is just a dream come true.
Mm-hmm. So wrapping up with just we got to talk about our beloved Washington Commanders. Your thoughts on Carson Wentz? Obviously, he's been through the ups and downs. How do you think he does in Washington?
I'm excited for him. Last year, he threw 27 touchdowns, 6 picks. I mean, if that was some other quarterback, we were talking about how great he played, So I'm sure he had a game or two he probably wish he had back, but he produced, And but he's got another opportunity. He did some great things when he was in Philadelphia. Went through some injuries, but I'm excited for him. Excited for the Commanders, and it's a team I'm pulling for. So pulling for Carson. He's a tough guy. Athletic, and just needs to hopefully people get on his bandwagon, cheer for him instead of against him, and realize his greatness, and then run with it. You got to go win games, and you got to win late in December and January to be remembered the way you want to be remembered.
No, I agree. Hopefully Carson can do that. He'll take command. But before we go, I want to talk about life after football. For those of you that don't know, Brad is a big TikToker and trick shotter. How did you start doing that?
Yeah, actually, about 2 years ago in the pandemic, both my boys, Max and Jake, they're home, and we're working out all the time, playing checkers and chess and all those kind of things. And they were on TikTok, and I figured out what this app was, and then I started making videos at the beginning of my TikTok page and stuff. I made a lot of videos of my career, of workout videos and those kind of things. And I started doing these trick shots. And what's a little bit different with my trick shots is I try to make a multiple of 3, 4, 5 in sequence in a row. And they had fun with that. I played basketball my whole life. Obviously, you can throw football. And so basically, it might be spin the ball off my finger. It might be throw over the backboard. I don't know, some other crazy shot off my head, and then throw a football in the hoop. And I did one. I've done a bunch of football videos. I did one from the corner pocket, so in the end of the end zone, and as a right-hander, you throw the ball will drift left to right. As a left-hander, you go left to right if you throw it long. And so I hit 5 in a row from the corner pocket, hit the second pole. It's like a Picasso for me. I mean, so I've had fun making those shots and put it out there on Instagram and Twitter, and just for people to enjoy, people to laugh. And so it's been a lot of fun doing that.
Mm-hmm. So before we head out, I want you to plug in any of your social media just for the people out there to search you up.
Yeah, I appreciate on TikTok. It's Big Bad Brad 14. And usually I respond about everything, and as long as it's positive. And then on Twitter and Instagram, it's Brad_Johnson_14. So have a lot of fun with it. Show all my trick shots on there, and it's made to be positive and just have fun.
No, I agree. Thanks again, Brad. Obviously, a huge inspiration on and off the field. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more DMV Sports content. And we're out. Peace.
Awesome. Thank you.